Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday service. My favorite place to be. Welcome, everyone, to the Sunday service. I'm so grateful that you're here. We're listening to music right now that is being played by my plants. So I'm so happy that y'all are here. This is my favorite place to be. Welcome in, welcome in. I like seeing all these familiar faces on Facebook and on Instagram. Today, as you know, we're talking about altars. So we are at my altar space here today. Different views for different folks here. And for those of you who just joined, if you can hear the music, we are listening to music being played by my plants back here. So let's see. On Facebook, you can see this back here. And I'll show you on Instagram. Is the MIDI sprout, and it's hooked up to that plant there. The one that you can just see off screen on Facebook. If you're interested in getting your own MIDI sprout, I'll let you know the website. You can just Google it. It's very easy to find. MIDI, M-I-D-I, sprout. Pop in the code Betsy, all caps, and you get a discount. I highly recommend it. I don't know how well the music can be heard. Let's put it here. You'll definitely be able to hear it. I just don't want it to drown out me. You need a MIDI plant device, yeah. Great, a lot of plant lovers here. So, I plan on leaving the plants on the whole time today. It's going to be our experiment. Who knows? Maybe it'll be something that we do every week where we listen to the plant music. And yeah, I might as well. I didn't plan on talking about this, but I might as well sort of really give you the in on plant music because we're here. So it's been a dream come true to have plant music in my house, and I plan on having it stream over the internet 24/7. And as many of you know, last week I led a plant music breathwork workshop here in Venice. It was a delight. And we took this machine, the MIDI sprout, we hooked it up to plants, and we did experiments with our energy. So you probably have seen, because you're followers of social media, most of you probably have seen my experiments with hugging this plant. If you haven't, there are 2 on Instagram. I don't know if they're on Facebook. But even if you're not on Instagram, you can still go to Instagram.com/Betsy LeFae and scroll down. You'll see videos of me hugging plants. Planting hugs is great too. Let's talk about that. So on Instagram, there's MIDI Sprout, Facebook as well. You can just go there and get your own. Pop in the code Betsy and you'll get a discount once again. And why I'm keeping it on during the service is because you'll have an opportunity to notice the change in the music as my and our energy changes. And when I have this music streaming 24/7, there'll be some really cool experiments that we can do from afar and also in person that I'm really excited about. So we'll talk more about plant music, I'm sure, at some point, but I'd like to get started. Let us drop in with a prayer. Before I do, let me just get some confirmations, both from Facebook and from Instagram, that this volume of voice to music is a good volume. If not, I can adjust. So is ever the music too loud? Can you hear the music? You got some hearts on Facebook that it's good. Instagram, can you hear the music coming through, pulsing while I'm talking? Okay, great. That's greatness. Thank you. So I invite you to close your eyes for the opening prayer. Great. And did you notice when I said close your eyes for the opening prayer that the music actually stopped? If you didn't, you can just go back on the replay and notice it. Drop into your body and take some deep breaths. Great Spirit, all that is, thank you so much for bringing us here together today. It's with so much love, joy, and gratitude in our hearts. We come here knowing we're co-creators of this white light, creating a safe and sacred space from which we can learn, integrate, and really develop that tenacity to go after what we want, what we desire, what we're here to bring on the planet, the thing that only we can bring in accordance with our highest good. And so it is. Take a deep breath in and exhale. I'm going to drop us into an embodiment practice, but before I do, I need to get permission from basically everyone who's present. That's 17 of us right now, 16, 9 of us. Well, it's going up and down, but 16 now. I need to get consent from you all that you all feel like you're in a safe place right now. So, if you don't feel like you're in a safe place right now, I am going to tell you, please don't do this exercise and please take steps to ensure your safety. It could be a very real thing. So if you're in a place where you don't feel safe, please stop watching this, whether it's in replay or live, and go take care of your safety. The reason why I'm doing this is because the rest of us who all feel like we are in a safe place, we are needing to remind our egos of that. So let's get into a place where we're in this moment. So I'm assuming that every single one of us is sitting in a place with cover over their head, that they're not out in the elements if they don't want to be. You probably have running water and a working toilet. You're probably not afraid that the structure is going to fall down upon you or that an airplane will fall from the sky. And we're talking about this now because what we're going to do in just a moment, and it won't be for very long that we're going to be doing this. I guarantee you 5 minutes tops, probably more like 3. But we're going to be feeling our emotions from this past week. Some of our emotions were overwhelm or anxiety or fear or loss or sadness or grief. And there are lots of positive emotions out there as well. I put it in air quotes because it's all, subjective. But ones that we would generally say feel good, there are those emotions too. But if you can show up right now and say you've had enough time to fully digest some of those murkier emotions, if you're coming right now into this moment and you say, I just came out and I'm fully digested of these emotions, then I would say hop off and go do something else for a little while or do the pink light. But if you haven't, I want to remind you that you have told me by virtue of being here that you feel like you're in a safe space. So with that said, let's close our eyes. Yeah, and breathe. So first of all, as we breathe, I already feel a difference inside the body of us reminding us of how safe we are. Let's do a little grounding. So I invite you to bring awareness to your sits bones, your bottom, your roots. Sometimes I actually like to bring my hands down to my bottom and feel the sensation in that area of the body, a gentle squeeze. Making sure I breathe, sometimes rocking side to side, really getting those muscles and that skin and that body awareness. we'll just breathe our root, our grounding cord. So we're just going to imagine that there's a cord of energy moving from our tailbone, from our root, all the way into Mother Earth. Breathing deeply as these roots grow deeply in all directions, fanning out. Breathing in that sense of groundedness, feeling of safety even more. Allowing yourself to feel what it feels like to be in a safe and sacred space that you have co-created. So allow yourself to imagine and feel and sense and know what it would feel like to be in that sacred space. It's okay if it's something from your childhood or a place in nature, something that you've never seen. It doesn't matter. Don't judge it. It can always change, but just feel the feeling. You're in your own cathedral. You're in your own sanctuary. Breathe into that space. And as we breathe into that safe and sacred space, co-creators, nature in the form of sounds, pause, denoting a synchronization of our energy, of our alignment with Source. Breathing into that space, expanding that space, and from this space, you're invited to allow 2 of your emotions from this past week into a safe and sacred space. Maybe there's a playroom inside your cathedral, and inside that playroom you invite these little emotions to come in, their little toddler selves, their angry selves, their upset selves, their lonely selves, their fear of abandonment, their upset tummies, their anger, their resentment. Just bring in 2 of them. Breathe them in. Into the playroom. They're in the safe and sacred sanctuary inside the playroom. And it's safe. Because playrooms are safe. And you are holding the space. You are the teacher. You are the mother. You are the father. You are the friend. You are they. They don't rule the show. So this next part won't last for long at all, but just pick one of them and sit with them just for a moment. Take 2 deep breaths into one of them and feel what they are feeling. Just 2 breaths. Make sure you have two breaths. You're going to ask that part of you, that small child, what is that child fearful of? What does it need from you? And if you feel like you can authentically work with that and give that child what it needs, just go ahead and give it a hug. And if you don't know how, then make a promise that with spirit you'll know how and give them a hug. Because you wouldn't be here if you weren't determined. Give them a hug like you would your own child, your own loved one. Someone, a hug that loves unconditionally. Thank you for that message. Thank you for telling me what you need. Thank you for telling me what we need to work on. And perhaps seeing the ease of this first interaction, the second emotion maybe a little bit softened a little bit. That's not so hard. So take a look at this second one. Right in the eyes. Take 2 deep inhales. Breathe this emotion in. Feel it. Ask it, what is it you need? What are you afraid of? How can I help you? And once again, you know what the deal is. If you know the answer, reassure, and reassure that you will continue to reassure. You're not going anywhere. Tell this to this emotion. Thank it for the message. And Spirit is here always to help you both, all of you, the collective you, to figure this out and receive support. So at the very least, you can make that promise. I'm working with Spirit to figure that out. I'm going to work on taking care of you. So just take a deep breath in and take these into your heart. They're telling you messages. These are the answers you've been seeking. This is the love that you're missing. You've just received it. I know you have the strength to integrate that. Just give yourself gratitude for experiencing, for feeling, for honoring more of your emotional guidance system, for embodying it, for having the strength. Breathe in that gratitude for your strength, for your completion. And just seal it with a prayer, a promise, a guide, a knowing, the gratitude. When you're ready, you can come back into this really, really sacred space that we have co-created. Thank you for showing up in your sacred space and meeting mine. It is a very personal place I'm taking you to, and it really takes the brave heart to get to this point. So, I think I've told you before on these services, but there's some new people here, that, you know, the talks that I give are completely guided by Spirit. Like what the topics are, the timing of them. And it's really interesting because this week's topic is not as much of a direct result, literally in 3D, of this past week than pretty much all episodes up into this point. Except that it is in another way because it's a physical manifestation of the answer of everyone's problems this past week. So that's kind of sounded a little bit Alice in Wonderland. That's fine. So usually everyone has the same problem all week, and then I talk about it on Sunday, and Spirit gave me that topic before those people had those issues. This past week, people's issues were that they had the whole structure. They just needed to plug in, they just need to know how to plug into the power source. They had everything they needed. You have everything you need. You just need the map and the accountability. That was the theme of this week. And it just so happens, of course, that I opened up, was this a sacred, amazing practice, my coaching practice. I reopened it this week. Again, guided by spirit. I had no idea. It was not guided by me. Guided by me was close it. And guided by spirit was open it. And now I'm thrilled. Complete turnaround. So anyway, it's this past week theme. Maybe it sounds, similar to you because everyone here is in alignment with this, is we have everything we need. We just need to hook up to the power. We need consistency, accountability, and we need direction. We need the map. And so that's why I'm saying that today's topic all about altars actually really does line up. I love the synchronicity of that. Instagram people just fell over right after the music stopped. I don't know if anyone noticed that. I got this huge smile on my face because I just mentioned something super cool. I'm fixing this Instagram, by the way. I just named something super cool, and that is, it was really deep, right? Everyone needed to honor their sacred space this week. And then Spirit's like, bam, we're talking about creating a physical sacred space in your reality this week. So if this week you're not ready to sign up for coaching, it's completely fine. I'm not going to talk about it a lot, but I do want to say you're definitely going to want to sign up for the email list. That's why the link is on the Facebook there, and it's also on the link tree. It's on my bio and Instagram, because I'm going to tell you at the end of this never to be seen again deal, not having to do with coaching actually, after this, when this is over. But I didn't know I was going to open up this coaching practice, and I realized that I'm amazing at giving maps and accountability. And as you know, if you've been following, and a lot of you have been coming week after week, amazing. I'm so glad that we're doing this. We've been talking about showing up for yourself on the regular, right? And we've been talking, I've been giving you maps this entire time. Like, that's what these services are. So for those of you not ready for coaching, again, stay on, or even if you are, we'll talk about it probably in the Hangout if anyone has any cues. But this physical manifestation that we're going to talk about is a wonderful place to start. If you have been listening to the Sunday services, if you've been attending, or you are continuing to shit on yourself despite us telling you that that is the dirtiest word that you could say, I really do mean that. I feel it. That's how much I mean it. The music stopped. This is why we have it. It's so much fun. This is a really great place to start with putting something in your physical space to remind you that does, I will say it, that does take up more space than a screensaver or an affirmation on a mirror or a post-it. Although I'm going to talk about all different ways to make altars. So let's just talk about the point of it, which is what we were just talking about, the point of an altar. So nothing externally from you can do anything for you or motivate you to do anything. But lots can inspire you and remind you of who you are and where you want to go. And so I do encourage you to take any ideas that we're talking about in reference to, it's funny, it's a little mirror backwards on these cameras, anything in reference to the physical altar space that we talk about today. I do encourage you, let's say that you do feel safe where you are, but you're watching from your car because you live in your car right now. Well, maybe you don't have a permanent altar space. Maybe you do make something to put on your screensaver of your phone or your computer. Now, you can also take pictures of your actual altar, put it on your phone, or you can do a combination of everything. I've even heard a person a long time ago say that she even sometimes makes her nails into altar spaces. that she'll put symbols of what she wants to manifest on her nails. So, you know, there's no ending or beginning of this, but there's kind of 1/2 straight up traditional, most concentrated energy definitions of altars, right? So we have the altar space like this. Keep doing the dance, just fun. What? Which way are you going? What? Okay. So a physical space like this, which, you know, go on to the Facebook feed if you want some inspiration. Georgia came up with some great ones. I reposted them on stories. Thank you, Georgia. Everyone loved them. If you want inspiration, and I'm going to talk about don't have like FOMO for altar spaces. That's like the opposite of what you want. It actually hurt me to say that, and the music stopped. So like, please don't look at this and be like, I wish my altar had fresh sage and flowers on it and a peace pipe from the Native American shaman up on the mountain. Like, just like, don't go there, because that's like infusing your altar with stuff you don't want, right? So there's this, and then there's also the altar space of something like a Sunday service would be projected from, right? So it is like, you know, the altar space. I grew up Catholic, so it's a few steps up. It's like a stage. And then, you know, you step up and you deliver the church service, right? So both of them are places of connecting to source. They're places of connecting to self, of intentionality. So I actually don't usually take questions. I don't usually pay attention, but there's a question of how do you make boundaries around altars? It's the same way that you could make boundaries with anything. If you're interested in boundaries, barriers, I would invite you to start with taking 7 Steps to Better Boundaries, which is a free class I offer on my blog, and then going from there to how to stop taking on other people's energy. Because if you apply the same tools in both of those resources to your altar space, then you'll get something like mine. So I'm going to tell you for real, this altar, I'm sitting on the ground. I'm also very small. So I'm very small, and this altar is like less than a foot off the ground, and there's actually usually more feathers on here. And when I adopted my cat, she's been here since December, and for 2 weeks I was actually even away. She's never even touched the altar space. So when you talk about your altar space and you say that it's hard to create spaces as deeply as you want because you don't want the altar space to be vulnerable, I'm just going to say that if you apply that to yourself and you allow yourself to take up space and allow yourself the boundaries to where you can feel vulnerable, it won't be an issue for your altar, which is really wonderful as we go into more of, I'm going to stop questions for just a minute because there are some things I want to go over in the altar, but that was a great question. I'm very glad that you asked it. All those resources are on the website. The How to Stop Taking on Other People's Energy class is there. So what I just encourage you, if you don't have an altar space, okay, what I encourage you to do is to start small anywhere. So I do challenge you because I believe all 20 of us here right now, I believe that we are high-powered enough to create a notebook-size place altar space. I challenge you to at least do that. And maybe it's half, because maybe it's a shelf that's like this big, right? Maybe it's that much space. And it's a deep challenge apparently for some of you because the music stopped. But I'm serious with it. If you can't, that's fine. Again, start small, maybe draw, or you know, you can go on Pinterest. You can do all sorts of ways to do it. But we're going to talk about if you already have an altar space too. But for those of you who are going to start, and what do you put on an altar space, right? So this is for those of you who have an altar space, those of you who are just about to create one. You put anything at all that prompts you to feel or remember a state of being that you desire or want to remember. It could be something that you want to shift or grow into. It could be an anchor of someone that you loved, or a concept that you loved, or a memory that serves a certain spark of magic inside of you, right? It is, if you're starting from scratch, it is the place, this is really good, this is a good place to start. If you're starting from scratch, it is the place where you're going to put that random crystal, that random leaf, that friendship bracelet that you still have from when you were in high school and you just have that magic for. You take those, the penny that you found, that, or the shell, or the flower, or the picture of grandma. You're gonna, or maybe the scented candle that you just love, or maybe not scented. I personally don't like scented candles, but the special candle, or maybe your friend gave you a card and it just makes you, you know, someone gave you a law of attraction card or something. You're going to take those things, the things that you're like, this is really special. Where do I put this? You see? Now, it's not just for any old antiques, okay? It's not to show off everything. All right. And there have been times, I want you to know, there have been times where when I lived with other people, it was very common for me to keep a part of my altar private. The part of my altar that was really my vision board, that was like ultimately bam, 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 everything that I wanted, everything that I desired, that stuff, I kept it as a part of my altar, but I created these like curtains, actually. So I got creative, which I'm explicitly started off this whole conversation saying, like, you're working with spirit, get creative, right? So I had this whole, you know, all my sacred stuff was there, and then when it came to, you know, we're talking about vulnerability and boundaries, it's a creative way to create boundaries. You know, maybe you don't want your deer skull on YouTube, and so maybe you take it down, but maybe you're comfortable with it, so maybe you leave it there while you're giving the grand tour of your cribs on MTV. I don't know if they still have that show. So, oh, there's so many wonderful people on here. I'm happy to see everyone. Really, really am. So all of these things that you didn't know where to put. Now, that's the beginning. But at the very, very, very least, when you build your sacred altar space, you're going to do two things. You're going to have intention, and we're going to talk about what that is and how to do that. And you're going to be feeling what these objects, these physical representations are meaning. Now, you're co-creating with spirit, so you're listening, you're feeling, but you're also making it up. You're also saying, ooh, there's this aspect of me that I've always wanted to have a representation of. This piece of coal actually does represent that. You know, despite, you know, people getting a lump of coal in their stocking when they're bad, this lump of coal represents sacred fire that Betsy LeFae walked on. So of course I want to have that on my altar. Right? Or, you know, you have that leaf from last fall that you don't know what you did with. Before you put it on your altar, you say, what aspect of this am I intending to bring into my life that I love, that I respect, that I need to be reminded of? How does this feel? And as you're developing it, you will, over time, develop your practice of feeling what feels good. So that's one thing. You're having intention. And the second thing is that you're coming back to the space, okay? So I'm going to tell it to you bluntly. Y'all are in quantum shifts. I just know it. There's no way you could be here if you weren't. And because of that, think of the altar space you would make when you were in 3rd grade. I'm sure it would be beautiful. Would you feel like that altar space is appropriate for you now? The answer is no. No Merlin's Beard way. For those of you who don't know, I don't swear. I say Merlin's Beard, or at least I'm trying to. No Merlin's Beard way would you want your third grade altar. So I would say, you know, daily revisiting it, weekly refreshing. You know, if you think about how often you're refreshing flowers, by the way, the music just stops, being like, yeah, we're hitting it. We're hitting the resonance, right? For those of you who have joined late, we're listening to plant music over here. So when the music stops, it means our energy has shifted. So we're paying attention to the music as we speak. You're guided to get a MIDI sprout, M-I-D-I sprout. Go to their website, put in Betsy, all caps, so get a discount. It's great to pay attention to this. We're hitting deep stuff. So if you were to put fresh flowers on your altar, you wouldn't really want them there for more than a week. It's a very good measure. Nature is always a very good measure for us to look into. It doesn't mean you can't put dried flowers on there. It doesn't mean if you put flowers on there and they get moldy. I've had moldy flowers on my altar before. Instagram keeps slipping around here. You're trying to get like a peek of something, but there's nothing to peek except the ceiling, so might as well just stay put. I'm transparent, you know, there's nothing to hide. So I'll show you a little bit of my altar, then we'll do a guided meditation, and we'll get to some readings. So I'm going to step out of the way here and just point some things out that we can see on both screens. Yes. All right, so I'm not going to be answering questions here, just so you know, we don't have time, but I will be doing a hangout after this, so it ends at the half hour. We just stop this live feed and we start another one. And I will be happy to explain more of this if you have specific questions about what you see. In the meantime, what I'll share is what Spirit's compelling me to share is I have this altar set up to have what's called the 4 directions in the center. And a lot of these things, if you have deeper questions, take them to the hangout after, or literally just start your own journey. Start Googling, get some books, read some blogs, watch some YouTube. What are the 4 directions? What is my relationship to them? So I have them set up with all 4 elements and 4 directions here. And I'm gonna bring you to your future, which is that if you don't even know what the 4 directions are and the 4 elements are, don't you worry, because you can develop your relationship with them. And Merlin's Beard, have I ever developed a relationship with all 4 elements? And if you're wondering, you know, how did she get to be so bright? How did she get to be so on point? This and that. It's actually having a lot to do with this consciously and unconsciously. So it can be a very good companion to whatever spiritual or belief system you are studying. And that's what I like about the 4 directions, north, south, east, west, is that when I align my altar space to that, and I have travel altars when I do, travel healings, breath work, readings. When I travel, I have it in my home, in my space that I'm staying at. Again, the music stopped, so we're in real deep territory. Great. Travel altar, new idea for a lot of you. Awesome. Start to get it together. It's really fun. Little miniatures. So when I put my altar down with all the directions, it actually orients me to where I am on the planet. And that is something very important that we won't really get into today, but we talk about the inner compass, right? And also, we know that animals are really guided by the magnetic fields of the planet, right? So what we say the animals have an inner compass that actually guides them with these energy lines, these energy fields. And so when we bring conscious awareness to our focus and what direction we are facing, this is real meta, this is literal and symbolic. When we become more conscious of what direction we're facing when, if you live in New York City in Manhattan, it's very easy. Or somewhere like that, that's like a grid, then you become more harmonized with the planet, and you are the planet, your intuition is nature, and you get more in alignment with Mother Nature. So shorthand in your intuition. So shorthand, this is north, south, east, west. Just look up the elements, make some representations here. I actually have water in the back. We have a candle, we have fire, we have a feather for air, and we have a crystal. We have smoky quartz to ground and represent earth. And maybe we'll talk more about the 4 elements in a future episode. You can see down below here that we have some cards, and okay, I actually do have to tell you about some of this stuff. So I've got some tarot cards, I've got some law of attraction cards, I've got a Mona Lisa Schultz deck, which was actually my first deck that I had ever received, I have a mudra deck, and what I tend to do is every Sunday, this is my ritual, every Sunday I will sit and I will renew the cards. And I will do very simple. I don't ever use tarot with clients. I'm not well versed at all. I look to my friends and colleagues for the answers. I look it up. Whoa, I just realized I happen to know all 3 of my tarot teachers personally, and I'm friends with them. Okay, so yeah, that was part of what we were going to talk about. But so I just do a 3-card spread that's what am I leaving, what am I coming into, and what card to focus on, what am I meant to focus on. You can do any spread you want. I'm just saying if you wanted to attach 3 cards, that might be a good way to just consistently have a reminder of the week's message, or some other spread. And I have my mudra for the week, all that. Other than that, I have some really symbolic things on there that I have gathered along the way, and I will bring forward 4 examples. And I don't think we're going to have a lot of time for readings today, but this is what we're being called for. I'm going to bring forward 4 items from here, and I'll explain how they got here and the meaning of them. And again, like the point of this is just to like show you, you can put pennies, you can, you know, if earlier today I had found a starlight mint on the ground, I might have picked it up and put it on my altar, because that is a very specific meaning to me. So again, if you feel like, oh, Betsy's altar looks blah, 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 or those pictures that she put up look blah, 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 like, just don't go there. Okay. So, a lot of these you couldn't see on camera because it extends, but, so we'll start with this sword that I have, and this sword, I'll let you in on the secret. Actually, I have no problem with it because it's actually a symbol. It's actually a letter opener. And when I was on retreat with Ashley Turner and Sienna Sherman, I don't even know. It was about 4 years ago. So when I was on retreat with them, what struck me a lot was she actually grabbed my crystal that this is actually sitting on. I'm not going to go grab it. My crystal that this was sitting on was over on that altar in Avalon, so in Glastonbury, England. And she needed a sword to help someone cut something energetic. And she grabbed my crystal and she used it as a sword. There's a lot of sword imagery that she was using to cut through illusion. And so this past summer, when I was back upstate New York, where I always do, go camping with my family, I was at a thrift store and I saw the sword. And I was like, I really do feel like I need a sword on my altar. And at the time, I wasn't really, it was very, very cheap. It was under $10. But at the time, I was really into saving money. And so I actually thought about it overnight. And I was like, do I really want a letter opener on my altar? And then I just very easily was able to feel that this was my altar piece, that this is my sword, and that I actually don't really want to own a real sword. And I actually prefer that this is a letter opener, because it is a symbol. So these things are symbols of what we desire, what we have inside of us, what we'd like to grow. So this is the sword to cut through illusion. And I can tell you that since I bought this and put it on my altar, I'm seeing way more clearly, and you could probably see it with inside of me too as you scroll back. So that's number one. We've got 3 more to go. So I don't know if the creator of my friend is here. I don't know. She said she was going to be here, but I wasn't paying attention to the comments. So meet Merlin. Yes, Merlin had to show up today. So Merlin's gotten used to the digital world a little bit more since being here in LA. I think Merlin was a little jet lagged, coming all the way from Australia. So as you know, I have been saying Merlin's beard in replace of swearing. And I'll tell you a little bit of background that I haven't shared in public before, is that this indeed is Merlin's beard. It's literally the softest material I have ever felt in my entire life. And when I say Merlin's beard, what I truly do feel is that Merlin is the divine masculine holder of the mysteries, and is here for the balance and the masculine wisdom, and that the wisdom is actually oftentimes held in the beard. And look at this beard, you know? So when I say Merlin's beard, I feel as though I am injecting magic into the energy behind what I'm saying. And it's so true that the music stopped behind that whole sentence. And now we're hearing different music because we're on a different level. So I do invite you, people have been saying Merlin's beard. I have no judgment if you continue to swear. It doesn't bother me. I have no personal judgment. I have no reason to. But if you decide to, you're injecting magic. And Georgia made this. She handmade this and sent it from Australia. She's an amazing puppet maker. And so Merlin is on my altar. And Merlin is actually on my altar right next to this fairy potion that I have. And this fairy potion is so deep, it also paused the music momentarily. This is the full moon potion that I make every month that I'm called to. It's not every single month, it's most months, but when spirits calls me to, I go out on a wild foraging walk, and I go and pick whatever spirit is asking me to pick and put it in an organic infusion and leave it on my altar for at least 1 moon cycle, if not more. There was one that took 3 moon cycles. So it's whatever, again, spirit and the potion is guiding. And this is this is the one that's coming out next. So this one is actually, I think it will be available the next full moon, but don't quote me on that. It's going to tell me. But it is called Monarch. it's so that you can be your own queen or king. You can step into that. That's what it's for. It is really special. So I'm just fixing the Instagram phone here. We're like working on some strong suction cups, and I think we're testing this suction on there. All right, so that is 3 out of 4, and the fourth I have here is this Pegasus bell. Isn't that beautiful? It's iron, I believe. I'll put it on both cameras. And this is something that I received, was given from my friend Dashan Karim. So he is a friend of mine who is no longer in the physical. And did you hear how the music matched it? Wow! And this music is in 432. Dashan, good job! For those of you who don't know what 432 is, this music is not in harmony with almost any other music that you would play unless it was specifically in 432. I had no idea that bell was in 432. Thank you for that. So, yeah, so my friend, I got that from my friend who's no longer with us, and I keep it on my altar, and it's a very special reminder. And I have no doubt that he is with us now, smiling and helping us. I shared a stage with him that was like an altar for a long time. So there you have it. There are some things on my altar space. I do have to put out the PSA. I know it sounds kind of funny, but whenever you're working with fire, please don't leave your candles unattended. I trust your judgment 100%. Don't leave dripping fabrics around. Don't leave flowers around candles, dried or otherwise. This is speaking from someone who made a mistake, albeit when I was 18 or 17. So over 21 years ago. But still, I will tell you, I was at an event this year or the end of last year. I don't know. I guess it was the end of last year. I was at the end of last year with a priestess who is celebrating 70 decades on this planet, and they had flowing fabric and candles on the fabric, and then someone lit their hair on fire. So it was not a disaster. It went out right away, but we blew out the candles immediately. So I love and respect and trust, but as a firekeeper, as someone who is in alignment with the elements, me and Merlin say, if you have a candle, don't leave your candles unattended, and if you want them going all the time, you can get the battery ones or whatever. So let's do a guided meditation, because that's a really nourishing way to end this week and start anew. So I invite you to close your eyes and notice how the plant stopped playing music when we made our transition. Just notice that the plants know when we're having our transition. Yes, that's why we're here. Maybe it's going to be plant music every Sunday. I think that's probably pretty appropriate. So let's close our eyes and take some deep breaths. Just allowing ourselves to let go where we're consciously holding on. Breathing deeply. And this is going to be a plant music guided meditation. So I'm just going to invite you to continuously pay attention to your breath. And the music. in your breath. And the music. And your breath. And every inhale allows you to become more relaxed. And every exhale brings you into deeper listening. Inhaling, creating space in your body. And exhaling, listening to the music. Inhaling, becoming present to your body. And exhaling, listening to the response. Every inhale allows you to let go a little more. And the exhale causes you to listen to the music deeper. Taking some deep breaths and coming back to this space. Still listening, still being connected. I want to see in the comments a wave or a word or a me if you notice the plant music breathing with us. Did you notice when we said inhale and it stopped and listened to the music and it started again? So for those of us, right? People are tapping in and they're like, yes, the plant was breathing with us. And now the plant music has stopped because we're so excited. I love that I get to say we and have it really mean we. Because I know how excited some of you all are. All the way on the other side of the pond. You felt the plant part of you asking to be recognized. Yes. So for those of you on Instagram, this live is going to end in 1 minute, and I'm going to pick up right where we left off with another live. So don't go anywhere unless you have to. If you want to stay, we'll just hop back on. And for those of us on Facebook, we're going to do the same thing, but not until it's over, and it ain't over until it's over. So I'm actually going to stop this Instagram right now and start it up so we can get the closing prayer and a little bit of the announcements at the end. So Instagrammers, I'm going to say goodbye and hello in just a minute, and Facebookers, just bear with. All right. Thank you for bearing with. Thank you, Instagrammers, for bearing with. So as we're waiting for the Instagrammers to come back on, I just want to say that the connection between the plant music and us is what we are being guided to do in that guided meditation, to develop that connection, to develop that awareness. Georgia, I thought I saw you here. So I'm glad you're here. It would be okay if you weren't, but I'm glad you are. Anyone that's here, I'm glad that you're here. So before we say the closing prayer, I'm just going to give some announcements. And we didn't get to readings today. That's unusual. But we really did go deep, particularly with the plant music. I feel like that was giving us a reading, and still is the whole time. The plants are like, yeah, Bets, you just told the truth. We got quiet, right? So again, if you want a MIDI sprout of your own, MIDI sprout, you can find them online. You can put in Betsy, all caps, and you'll get a discount, BETSY. You can hook it up to any iPhone, any iPad, any computer, and you can get your own plant music. It's really fantastic. I have some other really amazing announcements that you need to hear. Okay, so A, coaching practice is open. It's for people who want to quantum shift. If you feel like you've been doing the work, but you haven't connected the system up to the power, if you feel like you need maps and accountability and you've been waiting for the shift for a while, now is the time, okay? So if you're interested, you can go on my website, go to the coaching, and apply to do a free coaching evaluation. I'll be happy to meet with you if you meet the requirements. So excited. Don't wait, because seriously, I announced this, 4 days ago, and my practice is more than halfway full, okay? And the rates of today are not the rates of tomorrow, guaranteed. All right, enough about that, because it's not for everybody. This other thing might be for more of you, and then the last thing really might be for everybody. Everybody might be really excited about this. 2 more announcements. Okay. Second announcement. If y'all haven't heard about Trust Yourself, we might have a special guest in a minute. I just heard an announcement. There might be a special guest coming on in a second. If y'all haven't heard about Trust Yourself, my 6-week class, it was beta tested online this past fall. It was successfully taught in New York, sold out a bunch of times. It was successfully taught in Texas. Awesome. I followed my intuition. I followed spirit, put it online. Great success. Actually, the cat is smelling Merlin's beard. That's basically how Merlin's beard came along. That's how I met Georgia, was through the class. Trust Yourself. Oh, did you see that tail? She's going out. So that, you can't get that class until fall, or until the spring, okay? The card's going to be open during spring. We have so many cues of how much does it cost. I want to start saving my pennies. When can I know when it is live? I just want to let you know that that was a beta test. It's not going to be at that price anymore, and it is doubling for the spring. Yes, this spring, in about 6 weeks, it's doubling. But this week, and this week only, I'm going to offer only a select group, only you people listening now. I'm not going to mention it on social media. There's going to be few people on the email list. You might get an email, but it's like so few people, hand-picked people. If you want to get it and you pay it all in one lump sum, you will get it at the beta price if you pay for it this week. You will have until Friday. Sign up to the newsletter. Sign up link is on here. And send me an email that says, hey, I want that 777 deal for Trust Yourself. Send me an email. You can just do the contact form on my website, sign up to the email list, and send me that email, and I will send you that. Cool thing about Trust Yourself is it's live twice a year. There's live breath work 6 times in a row, once a week, live Q&A. You get to participate every single time. You get all the replays. You get 12 hours of video footage. We have Trust Yourself people who have taken this, who are on here now and actually work in the Intuition Life family. They work for me because Intuition Life was that awesome, or because Trust Yourself was that awesome. So if you're just like, I want to grab it at 777 before it doubles, you have to reach out to me this week. Friday, 5 o'clock my time, it is over. You're not going to automatically get an email from it. It's not going out to the list. Okay. Then there's an even more exciting thing. Okay. If that wasn't exciting enough, the last thing is really exciting, and then we're going to close with a prayer. The last thing that's really, really exciting is, regardless of where you are with coaching or Trust Yourself, if you are into this stuff, and most of you here have tried the pink light, give me a wave if you've tried the pink light. Give me a wave if we've got them. Everyone's like, yeah. They're just like all of a sudden we got all these waves. Give me a wave if you've tried the clear and protect. Give me a wave if you have tried the stop, drop, and roll. If you've taken, how to stop taking on other people's energy. There's a lot of you here. There's a lot of you super fans here. Okay? And this is really important. So what does Trust Yourself help you do? It helps you trust yourself. It literally does. That's why it's the name of it. Like, it wouldn't have given me that name if that's wasn't what it was. Okay? So if you're into this stuff and you have people who don't know they're empaths, you have people who you think could use the pink light, who could use ego versus intuition, you think you could send a link to your friend, or you're in a bunch of Facebook groups, or you're in this, homesteading Facebook group, and you're like, hey, y'all want to trust yourself, or you're in a empowering women's group and you can share this. You can actually make money doing this. So the invitation to you, I'm just going to hold this for a minute. The invitation to you is to become an affiliate for Trust Yourself, and you get 20% of each sale. So if you got 5 people to sign up for Trust Yourself, you would get yourself free entry into Trust Yourself. You would get the equivalent of your tuition for the 6-week class Trust Yourself. So if you're interested in that, again, send me an email. Don't send me a Facebook or Instagram message. Send me an email, Betsy@BetsyLeFae.com, and start to do that. You're going to want to hop on it now. What we do is we share the resources first. We don't jam Trust Yourself down people's throats, right? We just don't. We want to let them know, hey, you're empathic. There's something that you can do about it. You can connect to yourself. You can do the pink light. You can learn to get that trust within yourself. Maybe you, listening now, maybe you want to make some more money. Maybe you're like, oh, I really want to take Trust Yourself. I don't have 777. But maybe you have 5 friends that in the next 6 weeks, you can start to give them these resources. Don't give them to it now. Sign up to be an affiliate, and I'll give you special links for them. All right? That's the exciting thing. Now, what is it that you're actually doing, though? You're sharing links. If they sign up for Trust Yourself, then you get 20%. But what is it you're actually doing? You are helping people to trust themselves. Bam! What does the political climate look like when everyone trusts themselves? I know it sounds utopia, but we've got to start somewhere with our dreaming. What does your household look like if everyone trusts themselves? What does your friend group look like if your 3 immediate friends trust themselves and trust you with you because you trust you? That's what you are doing. And if you don't do it, I'm not going to be like, hey, I saw you on the Sunday service and you didn't become an affiliate. No. People will spread. People will get what they need to get. It's just an invitation for you. If you are sitting here and you're like, I want to make more money so that I can get more support from anyone, Betsy LeFae or anyone, maybe you want to become an affiliate. Just write me an email, Betsy@BetsyLeFae.com. Those were the exciting announcements I am literally gently caressing my hands through Merlin's beard as we speak. It's off camera. Nothing weird's going on. Just strumming my hands through magic. So let's close with a prayer, and then we'll do some hanging out. I invite you to close your eyes and take some deep breaths. Great Spirit, all that is, thank you so much for the magic in our lives. The co-creation of higher standards, of more abundance, more love, more success, more joy, more realness, more connection to our plant selves, more creativity on deep levels. We leave here knowing we're always co-creators of this white light, where we can take and make this magic wherever we go. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. Once again, this is my favorite part of the week. No doubt about it. Sorry if you were somebody who met with me another time during the week. Hashtag not sorry. You're probably here, too. We're going to close it up on Facebook, but we're going to reopen it on Facebook. And I'm just going to rearrange this Instagram so I'm not holding it. So as usual, I hope to see you back next week. Feel free to email me with whatever. I'm going to be taking cues on all the announcements in just a moment in the Hangout if you want. And until next time, may your intuition be with you.